Content warning. Echo can be emotionally intense experience and may not be for everyone. Echo contains themes of adult nature, including violence, torture, drug usage, and harsh language. Viewer discretion is advised. Wednesday. I stare out the window as we roll down the dusty streets of Echo. Every road, every corner, every trailer, and every tree has a memory attached to it. Oh my god. There, in the middle of a dusty parking lot that belonged to the corner market, is a tiny stand. That used to be where I'd get ice cream after begging for $1 from my parents. It's crumbled and boarded up now. The paint peeling off in tiny chips. And there, in front of Duke's house, is a big flat rock that Jenna was standing on when she told me she was going to run away from home. I can still remember almost exactly how she was silhouetted against the red sunset behind her. In the old train yard where in the middle of summer, Leo kissed me for the first time, while I was sweating buckets under the noon sun. He didn't seem to care though. I look over at Leo. He's got one hand on the wheel, glancing up at the rearview mirror, occasionally to trade jabs with Flynn. I'm regretting not letting him know we're coming. You know, you'll be lucky if he even gets his ass out of bed. We'll call him then. And what if he doesn't answer? Leo doesn't say anything. Instead, focusing back on the road, TJ fills the silence after a while. Well, I don't think it's too weird. It's just like we're hanging out again. Nothing wrong with that. Sure, but making it about Carl is just weird. Maybe if his birthday was like next week, 2 weeks tops. Oh, hush, Flynn. It'll just be like we're hanging out. You're acting weird about it isn't going to help anything. The car starts slowing down and I snap out of my daydream to look up, knowing that we definitely weren't at Carl's house yet. That's when I see a round canine figure standing further up on the side of the road. She's standing in the dirt that separates the road and the field in front of a broken and rusted barbed wire fence. I think that's Janice. I look over at Leo and he seems concerned, his brows furrowed as he carefully steers the car right up next to the coyote. I can see why. She's crouched over, elbows on her knees, staring at the ground. Roll down your window, Chase. Oh, he does call him Chase, but like that otter thing is still weird to me. It's like a dude calling me Asian. I do, as he says, struggling a little with the old crank handle. The hell she's doing out here? We come to stop next to the coyote, kicking up some dust. I don't know. Hey! Leo leans over me and smiles out at Janice, who's still looking at the ground. Everything all... Leo's voice cuts off in a weird choking sound. I look at him confused and look back out the window and I can't help myself but gasp. It was hard to tell from the angle, and all the dust kicked up, but now I can see that Janice has her pants around her thighs. I can also see everything else. I sit back quickly to avert my eyes, looking out the windshield and said, "What the fuck? Oh my god, Leo, keep going!" Jenna whispers it, her voice strains. Oh, sorry, Leo stops talking and I chance a glance out the window again. Janice is looking at us now and she's smiling. It's a weird smile because it isn't touching her eyes. It's unnerving. Leo stares back. Leo, let's just go. I hiss out of the side of my mouth, staring out the windshield again. He seems reluctant to, though looking concerned. Janice, do you need some help? His tone is one you might use on a toddler or a crazy person. I don't hear anything except maybe a grunt. Leo bravely keeps trying, though. We can give you a ride. Leo stops talking in time for me to hear a pattering sound, a sound I recognize well from my time as kids pissing on the dirt roads of Echo. The van lurches forward, then resumes a smoother acceleration back onto the empty road. Holy shit, what the fuck was that? I don't... Leo's frowning, looking as confused as ever I've seen him. Should I go back? No! I look back and see TJ covering his face. Maybe she could be having some kind of psychotic episode. Or maybe she just had to piss. I don't think so. Did you see the way she looked at me? She's probably just on something, isn't everyone? No, she doesn't do stuff like that. Well, maybe she does. You never know with people. Again, Leo doesn't say anything, and neither does anyone else. We don't go back. I fucking told you. Leo stabbed at the doorbell again, frustration etched across his face. I shift the bag I'm carrying around in my paws, trying to look through the frosted glass on the sides of the door. Maybe he's getting high. He should still be able to hear. I mean, maybe he just doesn't want to? TJ holds up his phone. He's not answering his phone either. Leo knocks on the door hard, his biceps bulging. Well, I guess breaking the door might get us inside. Leo stands back, paws on his waist as he takes a deep breath. He's determined. And I guess he should be, considering he set all this up. We should have just told him to meet us at the diner or something. Do they lock their windows? What? Leo growls. It's not like we're breaking in. TJ's ears pin back, a frown on his face. The wolf puts a paw to his forehead, closing his eyes. Sorry, but I think he's just asleep. It shouldn't be too hard to just get in there and wake him up. I look over at the side of the house and see a window well. I point at it. What about that? Too small. I could probably fit. She hops off the front porch and crouches down next to the window, pushing at it. Wait, there's a security sticker here. Well, you gotta arm it first, and Carl's such a lazy ass, I know he didn't. Besides, if we set off, we can just run. It's not like they'll show up anytime soon. Or instead of acting like criminals, we can just stay until the cop shows up. She knows us. Jenna hesitates, then pushes the window again, but it doesn't budge. Locked. Let's try the one above it. That's too high. I'll boost you up. I think this is going a little too far. Leo ignores him and stands next to the window before making a platform for Jenna's foot with his paws. Steadying herself with her paws against the wall of the house, Leo easily lifts Jenna and she manages to grab this oddly feels like Doki Doki Literature Club when finding your best friend in her room. I really hope that's not the case. I really hope that's not the case. Please just be high and having headphones on. Fucking hell, this is so fucking stupid. Flynn mutters next to me, but I make a point of not looking over at him. I feel for Leo. He worked hard to make this happen, and everyone is giving him a hard time over it. Jenna pushes against the window, and it glides open easily. Yes! Now I'm going to boost you on the way up. Hold on. Careful. Likely there's some kind of... they're some kind of cheerleading duo. Leo shoves Jenna all the way up with one paw, and she disappears through the window. Her bush tail is the last thing we see until she pokes her head back through. Kitchen, I fell in the sink. Great, now unlock the door. She disappears again, but we make our way back to the front door. Leo, you're fucking crazy. If you don't shut your fucking mouth, then I'll kick you right in your vagina. Sound good? Jesus, calm your... Leo turns on him, one foot in front of the other. Flynn shuts up, and then me and TJ are left to shift around uncomfortably on the porch. The fact that it surprised him is very concerning. Finally, we hear the door rattling, and it opens. Called his name, but he didn't answer. Well, he's gotta be here. It's not like he can go anywhere, or would want to. Carl's house is as massive and immaculate as I remember it. It is a mansion, after all. There are a few bowls of wrappers lying around on the marble counters. I assume that's because Carl's parents aren't here to tell him not to be a slob. Flynn immediately heads up the stairs. Yo, Carl! I set the bag down on the table and TJ sets the cake there. I look over at him. You alright? Yeah, why? Just asking. How was your hike with Jenna? Alright. Wish you were there, though. Yeah, me too. I might go again in a day or two if you like. Sure, why not? I feel so uneasy right now, guys. I really feel it in my chest. This is not gonna end well. I promised myself that wasn't an empty promise. Well, he's not in his room. Flynn's actually looking a little worried now. Maybe he went for a walk? Carl, walking in this weather? Hell no. Does he have other friends? Maybe he went out somewhere. I don't think so. Well, let's do a quick sweep of the house. It's a big place. Flynn heads back upstairs and Leo heads for downstairs with Jenna. TJ looks around the kitchen, then moves over to the living room, checking the couches. I decide to head out back, if not to get away from the others, since things feel unusually tense between us today. As I stepped out in the backyard, I'm a little surprised. It's different from when I was last year. The playset is gone, and so is the massive trampoline that they used to have. The biggest shock, though, is seeing that the huge tree house that we used to sit in, the old oak tree, is gone. I stand there for a moment, feeling a vague sense of loss. I have too many good memories of that place. Time moves too fucking fast. After a while, I remember why I'm here and I look around again. No Carl, of course, but I start walking around anyway. Look behind bushes, even though I know it's stupid. While I felt for Leo, I could still see where Flynn was coming from. It would have been a way better idea to warn Carl or just meet up with him somewhere else. Leo just gets carried away, I guess, a little when he has his heart set on something. He probably had the whole scene planned out in his head before we even got here. I really feel it in my chest. My chest feels like it's being pulled down by a chain right now. That's how heavy it feels like right now. Oh my god, I really hope I'm wrong. I really hope I'm wrong. Mostly I just feel really bad for him. He's been working really hard to make this trip interesting for all of us. I think it's our fault more than anything that nothing's working out. Flynn's a dick, Carl doesn't care, Jenna also kind of being a dick, and TJ's always into stuff that none of us are. Like Christian rock. And I'm just boring. As around the corner of the house, I'm surprised to see Flynn standing there. He must have come out the front door. Oh, hey Flynn, I thought you went upstairs. Flynn doesn't seem surprised at all to find me out here, which makes me think he was looking for me. I did. Wasn't there though, so I thought I looked outside. Oh, well, he's on the back, so I don't know why, but Flynn is making me feel awkward as hell. Something wrong? Flynn folds his arms and leans against the house. Well, Carl's missing, so I guess that's the problem, huh? Yeah. I tried to think of something to say. Well, I'm sure he's just hiding somewhere, or maybe he's out at the diner. He probably just got tired of being stuck in his old house. Yeah. He straightens up his back and steps forward, and I don't know why, but I take a step back. You were hanging out with Leo yesterday, right? Yeah, for a little while. You spent the night there? I pause for a second to give him the hint that I'm not exactly okay with him prying like this, but I answer anyway. No, I got back to the motel at like 3. Huh. Yeah. I start to turn back around. Hey, why don't we go check the base? Chase. He's got the same tone of disappointment parent, and that kind of pissed me off. I turn back around. What? You realize that what you're doing is stupid, right? Excuse me? Getting back with him during fucking spring break? Pretty stupid, right? I had a feeling that's where this was going, and now that I know for sure, I'm definitely pissed off now. How is that any of your business? How is it not? You two seem pretty okay with making it our business, right? No. He sneers at me. Cuddling up at the lake where our friend died is pretty messed up, isn't it? What? I saw you two. You know I did. So what? What does that have to do with Sydney? I guess I find it weird that you start up your old flame on what's practically a grave. The hell are you talking about? Feeling changed from anger to bewilderment. I didn't know what he was talking about. I just didn't know why. Well, since it's all out in the open now, why not talk about it? You're not the one that put it out in the open. You're the one who put it out in the open. In the worst way possible, by the way. Its sneer disappears. I just don't get why you're connecting those two things. We weren't even talking about Sydney. How? What else does that lake make you think of? I'm at a loss for words. I'm totally confused. This is Flynn. I never talked about Sydney with him after it happened. I was too scared to. Well, I don't think of it as his grave or anything. Oh, really? It's just a fucking lake to you then, huh? He didn't die there, Flynn. It was at the hospital. It might as well have been there, right? I swallow hard, wanting desperately to get back inside. Let's not talk about this right now. Oh, I guess I was confused. Everyone's been telling me that I need to talk about it. Well, not like this. Not with just me here. We should all be together if we want to have this talk. I turn around again, making it clear that I'm leaving. Wait. Changes his tone and his voice makes me turn around again. It's softer, almost pleading. I'm not used to hearing Flynn like that at all. I'm just trying to look out for you, Chase. He's not... I feel some of that anger returning. He's not what? Well, he's not exactly a stable guy, is he? I laugh. And you are? He dips his head, and I can tell he's embarrassed, even though he doesn't have the ears to tell me so. And not just you, all of us. We're all a little fucking crazy, aren't we? Flynn smiles a little bit. Well, that's what happens when you live in Echo. That's what all the kids at school said. Flynn frowns again. Listen, I'm just looking out for you. He's just... I sigh loudly and cover my face with a paw for a second. I was hoping I'd been able to change the subject, but now we're back to Leo. I'm surprised when I lower my paw and Flynn is just a few feet away. Flynn, just drop it. It's none of your business. His gaze hardens. I think it is when I see a friend taking advantage of another friend. Taking advantage of me? Yeah. Has been since you were fucking 15. What? I immediately know what he's implying. Fuck off, Flynn! No, that's a weird... Fuck off, Flynn! You're acting like my fucking He takes another step forward and I back away, but he angles it so that I'm pressed up against the house. I get the urge to run away, but I feel like doing that will only affirm how much this has escalated. There's a change in him as well, something unfamiliar in his eyes, in his stance, in his voice even. He leans down to my height. Like playing with fire, huh? You've seen it in his eyes. He's fucking crazy. He pokes me in the chest to emphasize his words. Crazy? Kind of like you are right now? Flynn pulls away and straightens his back, but still looking down at me. Yeah, well, maybe I am. The awkward silence stretches out, seems to go on and on until... You know what? I think... Chase! Both of our muzzles flicked in the direction of Leo's voice, mine to the right, Flynn's to the left. Leo stands there, ears perked forward, though his expression seems neutral. I wonder how long he's been standing there. I can tell Flynn was wondering the same thing. Any sign of him? No. I slide out from under Flynn, making my way towards Leo. I checked the back, but I didn't see him anywhere. Leo doesn't even look at me, staring over the top of my head. I look to see Flynn staring right back, his shoulders still tense. That's when I feel Leo's heavy, strong arms drape over my shoulders. Flynn's eyes narrow. Let's get back inside then. As Leo leads me away, I get the feeling that he's still staring Flynn down, even though I don't look up to check. I'm so uneasy. Oh my god. They were right. This is very like emotionally intense. I'm getting worried. No shit. Carl doesn't just disappear from his house like this. He doesn't have anywhere to go. Calm down. He could be anywhere. He has more friends than just us. The fact that he isn't answering his phone is kind of fucking suspicious. Leo holds up his paw. You know, he forgets to charge his phone sometimes. Flynn's getting more and more frustrated, starting to pace around the living room. He never goes out with other friends. That's the problem. Listen, maybe we should just wait. You all can wait here. I'm gonna find him. Flynn makes for the door, and before anyone can say anything, it's slamming shut behind him. We sit in silence for a while, staring at the door that Flynn just took off through. Leo lets his breath out in a long sigh, rubbing his face. All right, let's think. Where else does Carl have to go? The comic book shop? Leo looks at me for a second. Maybe if someone else gave him a ride, but like Flynn said, he doesn't have anyone else to do that for him. Well, maybe if you guys are going to do that, then I'll probably stay here in case he comes back. Yeah, and we can keep looking. Sounds good. Oh my god. Oh my god. Leo pulls his keys out of his pocket, then looks back at me. Coming with me, Chase? Yeah. I follow Leo out the door, actually starting to feel worried about Carl. We walk around the mall for a bit. What was he going on about? Like, did he manipulate him? Like, how old is it? No, it's not that big of an age difference, is it? Like, what's going on here? I'm fucking worried. I'm fucking scared. We walk around the mall for about an hour, checking the food court and every shop we pass. It's clear that this idea was pretty hopeless from the beginning. Jenna let us know that Carl hasn't showed up at the house either, and that they're heading back to the motel. Finally, Leo and I call it quits and head back to his house before walking to the diner for dinner. So, where do you think he went? Leo's hunched over, an elbow on the table and his chin in his paw, staring out the window. Don't know. Do you think we should call someone? Like the cops? Not yet. He's an adult, so they won't really look into it until it's been days. We should probably call his parents, though, if he doesn't show up by tonight. I don't say anything, stirring my milkshake around. I glance back over towards the kitchen area, watching the very tired-looking Janice gather up plates before taking them back to the back. I was pretty much mortified when I realized she was here and about to take our order, mostly just because I was embarrassed for her. She didn't really say anything, though, just took our order and left. I examined my milkshake closely, though for what I'm not sure. I'm not too worried, though. He's been under a lot of stress and probably just wanted to leave town for a while. But who would he do that with, and why wouldn't he tell us? Leo sips his milkshake and I wait for him to finish it. I guess things really have changed. Yeah. I rest my chin in my palm, meeting his eyes so he knows I'm listening. I mean, the way that Flynn was acting all day, he really can't stand us anymore. Carl probably just feels the same way. I don't think so. Flynn's usually been that way, right? Not like that. Like the way he was talking to you earlier? So he did hear everything. Guess you were right. I should have just left shit alone. We all used to fit together so well, but now we've all changed and it's like we're bending ourselves to fit again. I guess that's just life, right? Leo grunts and keeps staring at the window. It's clear how much he wanted this all to work out. To give us the opportunity for one last hurrah before we separated for good. Now I'm actually pretty angry at myself and the others. This is our last chance to really say our goodbyes, and it's like we don't care at all. Jenna and TJ are off doing their own thing. Carl's getting lost and probably high. And Flynn's being Flynn. I lean forward, then grinning. You know, I'm really happy you planned all of this. Slowly, Leo shifts his attention from the sunset to my face. I smile wildly for him. This is the most fun I've ever had all year, even though everyone's acting like a dick. I dip my head self-consciously. Including me. I know, but this whole thing has reminded me about a lot of the good things in this town. And even though things have been kind of shitty, I think it's a good note to leave off on. Oh my god, excuse me. Leo raises his brows. Because weren't things always shitty? It's part of the experience. Leo stares at me for a long time and I feel my grin start to fade. But then he reaches forward and rubs a thumb up my nose. I blink in surprise and he shows me the smear of white on his thumb pad. Sorry, it was hard to take you seriously looking like a cokehead. He grins and licks his thumb. I blush and grab a napkin to wipe my face, but Leo's rests a paw on my arm. But seriously, thank you for trying at least. Leo looks like he's about to say something else, hesitates, then opens his muzzle again. Cute. Leo and I look up to find a lanky patch, ugly ring-tailed cat staring down at us with beady black eyes. Ew. I don't know if you knew, but there's a lot of other people in here trying to enjoy their meal. Ew, disgusting. Of course he looks like a rodent. Clint puts a paw down the edge of the table, leaning in. Could you try not to ruin it for us? He grins at me, showing me just how many teeth he's missing. Guess he graduated from huffing paint since the last time I saw him. The hell you doing here, Chase? Didn't you dump his fat ass? A grimace. I can't tell if he's joking or not, or if he's still the same asshole that I remember him as. I haven't talked to him in years. Well, it kind of looks like you dumped your own ass, Clint. What happened to you? I can see Clint's brain working as he digests what I said, deciding whether or not he should be offended. I can also see his tail twitching behind him. It's patchy too, leaving some parts of it bald like a rat's tail. Actually, Clint, you're right. We're all trying to eat, but there's a smelly, ugly, ring-tailed skeleton ruining it for us. Clint flicks his attention from me to Leo, who smiles sweetly at him. Mind doing all of us a favor and getting the fuck out of here? Clint leans in low to the table, putting his face up next to Leo's. Leo keeps a straight face, and I'm impressed because I can smell the stench of Clint's breath even from here. Think you're funny, Beaner? It's... Oh, wait. Oof. Up. I think I said a slur. Oh, no. No. If you're trying to make me mad, you might as well do it right now. I was right to give him a southern accent. I was so right to give him a southern accent. Leo takes a sip from his milkshake nonchalantly while Clint gapes at him. His brain, which I imagine is Swiss cheese at this point, tries to come up with some kind of retort. Go fuck yourselves. Yeah? Well, I'd tell you to do the same thing, but you got a sister at home, don't you? Clint moves fast, swinging a fist up and around towards Leo's jaw. Leo's ready for him and lunges to his side, though the fist still glances at the side of his face. He grabs Clint's arm, yanks him down on the table, which knocks over my milkshake, and set it splashing onto my lap. I gasp and stand up and move to the side of the table while Leo starts to rub Clint's face in the mess, smashing it into the table a few times. Stop it! I jump as Janice shouts right next to me. Leo hears her too and turns around while still holding Clint. The dead look is still in her eyes, and the fur on her face is matted, like she's been crying a lot but hasn't washed since. I'm not gonna deal with this today, Leo. You know Clint started it. Leo's ears are flat as he looks back at Janice, clearly thrown off. Underneath him, Clint snarls and thrashes. Am I gonna have to get the taser from the back? Slowly, Leo backs off of Clint, who immediately shoves himself off the table. I can see Leo prepared himself in case Clint takes another swing, but he doesn't even look at him. His already dirty tank top smeared brown from the milkshake. He stumbles to the door and disappears outside. And clean up that fucking mess before you leave. With that, the old coyote turns and stalks off the back. She leaves me and Leo to stare at each other before we ruefully wipe up the spilled milkshake with brown napkins. There are only two other patrons in this diner with us, a skunk and a jackrabbit. But I can feel their eyes on us the whole time, and it only adds to the embarrassment. What do you think her problem is? I ask Leo under my breath as we come from tossing the ball of wet napkins in the trash can. He just shrugs, though, and I follow him quietly out the diner into the late afternoon light outside. We walk in silence for a while, with me walking awkwardly because my soaked and sticky pants are incredibly uncomfortable on my thighs. We stop at the motel where I change and shower before grabbing a fresh change of clothes, then we start back out again. Think about staying behind at the motel, but I feel like that would be a dick move after what Leo's been through today. As we walk back, Leo takes a detour, stopping at the convenience store. The fight has made things a little awkward between us, so I just shove my paws into my pockets and follow Leo. We go to the back where he grabs a 12-pack. He doesn't say anything to me either as he makes his way to the front to pay it. Finally, when we're back outside, he nudges me in the direction behind the convenience store. Let's sit. I lead the way because we've both done this dozens of times. We step off the asphalt and down a little ways into the brush where Leo pulls me up onto a boulder. Leo sighs, pulling out the first beer bottle. Leaning back, he pulls out his keys and uses the bottle opener on his keychain before handing it over to me. He does the same for himself, then practically chugs the whole thing before grabbing another, even before I'm able to take my first swig. I don't comment on it and instead look out at the sunset, thinking about how nice it would be to just sort of run off into the wilderness. At least for a little while. I lean back and sigh, noticing a white and brown splotch on the knee of Leo's jeans. What you said to Clint, that was pretty mean. He said some pretty mean stuff too, and it's not like I like saying that shit to him. Seeing me lying back, Leo shifts closer to me, allowing me to rest my head against his thigh. Again, the familiar position probably isn't a good idea. I just don't care. So, does Clint still live with his dad? No, he went to prison 2 years ago. Really? Because of... Yeah. Shit. We sit in silence, enjoying our quiet surroundings. As I lay there and I hear Leo open another bottle, then another. Finally, he lets out a big sigh. Chase, come back to Echo. I close my eyes, turning my vision blood red against the sunset. Maybe. Just not yet. He doesn't press the issue, instead reaching out for another bottle. By the time I get to my second one, the rest are gone. Oh boy. Red flag, red flag, red flag. As we walk back to Leo's house in silence, he occasionally brushes his tail up against my own. I let him. He's mildly drunk, so he's sort of excused for now. I do have to push his muzzle away when he leans up against me for some support after his feet hit a sudden dip in the road. I'm busy trying to steady him when I hear footsteps pounding up behind us. Before I know it, Leo shoved me hard to the side and I go stumbling in the weeds. Whirling around, I see a dark figure running off to the side from Leo. His attack aborted as he saw the wolf had seen him. He comes back around and I immediately see that it's Clint. He's got a crowbar in one paw. My stomach drops as I look from him to Leo, who's got a giant smile on his face, like this is exactly what he wanted to happen. What the hell? Come back for more, Clint? Oh my... Jesus Christ. Clint doesn't say anything. Instead, he just screams and runs at Leo again. Usually, I wouldn't be worried about Leo in a fight with Clint, but the crowbar and the fact that Leo can barely stand has me worried. Leo backpedals and then ducks low and lunges forward, which I don't think Clint expects. His grunt is guttural, but to my surprise, he doesn't go down. Instead, he grips the back of Leo's shirt before raising the crowbar and bringing it down hard onto Leo's back with a solid meaty thud. I gasp and cringe, starting to jog towards them. Clint presses forward and Leo trips over something, landing on his butt. Clint raises the crowbar again and Leo raises the paw. For about 2 seconds, they play a game with Leo's moving his paw around above his head, anticipating the swing. Clint, meanwhile, keeps trying to re-angle the crowbar so that Leo would miss. He doesn't get a chance though, because that's when I reach them. I'm not exactly a good fighter, considering I've never been in a fight before, but the idea of Leo getting his face beaten in with a crowbar provides me with enough terror that spurs me on. I jump on his back and grab a handful of fur on his forehead and yank back as hard as I can. I guess I should have hit him or something, but it seemed to work all right. His remaining teeth flashed in the porch light and I get a hot blast of rancid breath as he snarls angrily. Oh, fuck. Oh my god, I'm sorry guys. I gotta mute that for a second. Suddenly I'm sitting down on the asphalt feeling like my forehead just caved in. He must have somehow swung the crowbar back and hit me. I desperately rub my head, imagining the skull shattered into a million pieces like an egg, but everything still feels in shape. The fight's still going on, and now I can hear Leo snarling. It's not the sound I've heard often, but it's deep and way scarier than anything Clint would have managed. I try to focus the spot that I see their bodies tangled together. When I do, I see that Clint's on top again, the crowbar raised, pointy end down, aimed at Leo's face. I start to crawl towards him, but there's no way I'm going to make it. Again, the sound of something hard striking flesh, but this time it isn't Clint hitting Leo. It's Clint that hisses in pain this time as he arches back, baring his fangs. There is a dark shape behind him, but before I can focus on Leo's massive paw smashes into the side of Clint's face. Leo's not playing this time. In fact, it looks like he put everything he had into that punch, and the sound it makes is like a slab of beef being thrown against concrete. Clint's body visibly goes slack before he slumps down against Leo, only to be shoved roughly to the side. I crawl up next to the wolf, and he crawls over at me as I do. His paw immediately goes to my head and steadies it as he looks closer at my face. Fuck, did he hit you? Yes, when I realize I have a massive headache and feels like it's full of water. I rub the spot that itches a bit right above my eyebrow, and my pads come away slightly dark and bloody. Fucking piece of shit! Leo sends a back fist into the side of the downed Clint's face. Hey! That's enough, Leo! That's when I remember that it was someone else that actually saved Leo. That voice is familiar, but it isn't until I look up at the source that I recognize it's Kudzo. He's breathing hard, and he's holding the crowbar that Clint dropped. The dark spots around his eyes blend in with the night and accentuate how wild his actual eyes are. He looks spooked. What the hell are you doing, guy? What are you guys doing? What the hell are you guys doing? He sounds pissed, and I feel a little bit defensive. Hey, he tried to run up on us. Kudzo's eyes flick over to me before focusing back on Leo. I thought we had this shit figured out. Why the hell are you fighting again? I don't really get why this Kudzo guy is freaking out so much. His nostrils flare with each breath. You think he was the one that almost got his brains run through the crowbar? Chase, I know that you gotta get a scuffle, but are we really gonna glaze over the fact they said again? Calm the fuck down. You know how Clint is. He wouldn't do the half of the crap he does if you didn't antagonize him so much. You say he was a bully, but from what I've seen, it's the reverse. It's hard to think of Leo as a bully, but the way that he acted towards Clint in the diner was a bit much, even if it was Clint. Hey, if he couldn't take it, then maybe he shouldn't have dished it out. Leo grins and sticks out a paw to Kudzo, who glares, but nevertheless reaches down to help him up. Leo promptly pulls me up with him. As I get to my feet, a wave of dizziness instantly hits me, and I stumble into Leo. Fuck, see? Leo steadies me and looks into my eyes, worried, etched all over his face. I'm fine, just got a little dizzy for a second. It's not fine. Do you feel sick? Can you see straight? Seriously, I'm fine. Just give me a minute. Puchica. Going to kill that hick when he wakes up. At that moment, Clint makes a snorting sound and starts to roll over. Leo's eyes flash to where he's laying, but Kudzo steps up between the two, still glaring. No! Get the fuck back home and take care of the otter. I'm going to see if I can keep him from trying to kill you later on down the road. Fat chance. He's been wanting to kill me since middle school. Clint starts to sit up, supporting himself with both paws as he looks around. Go! Whatever. Leo turns back to me, and his eyes soften as he puts an arm around my shoulders. Come on, we might need to go to the hospital. I'm fine, really. The low tones of Kudzo's voice murmuring to Clint fades off as we stumbled into the night. No, you're not fine. He hit you fucking hard. God damn that fucking idiot. He could have killed you. This feels like an excuse. Like, this feels like an excuse for him to, like, what's it called? Give a good reason for him to fight. Like, he did antagonize him at the diner. And then, like, even with the attack, it was more brutal. Leo grabs my waist. Don't do that. You'll infect it. We'll clean it up back at my place. Swear to God, I'm not going to leave my house without my gun again. Suddenly, Leo's face takes an odd look. One sec. Makes as if to steady me with both paws and stumbles off to the side of the road. It's dark and I can't see him, but I'm sure as hell can hear a retch followed by a splash. This happens about 3 more times before Leo shakily but more steadily approaches me from the darkness, a sheepish grin on his face. You okay? Yeah, just a little too much. Just had a little too much. Really? The Leo I know could down 15 cans and still walk. Hey, rolling around with a crazy long tail sitting on you wouldn't do your gut any favors. Uh-huh, sure. Leo chuckles and wraps an arm around me again, though this one feels more intimate rather than just being there to keep me steady. We walk in silence for a while, just enjoying the evening air. The temperature is always perfect here when the sun goes down, when the sun's gone. It gets me more annoyed though, because I imagine we'd be having a much better time if Clint hadn't just tried to murder us. At least that's what I'm imagining he was trying to do, since hitting someone with a crowbar isn't exactly fucking around. Has it really gotten this bad between you and Clint? Leo squeezes me. It's always been that way. It looked like he was trying to kill you. Well, the gringo really hates me. Leo laughs, then falls silent for a while, ears pinned back. I guess he was angrier than usual. I think it's just that. I might have pissed him off more than I usually do. I look up at him. About that, you said to him back at the diner. What you said to him back at the diner was really awful. You too? I can expect not to get hit with that if he's going off about us and about me being a... I know what this word means. I'm not going to say it. Because also, I don't know how to censor... To, like, do a censor button or something. Leo barks out a laugh. Talk shit, get hit, I always say. I don't know, man. What his dad did is different. It's not his fault, you know? Hey, he might be fucked up, but he can still make the decision to be a complete dick to everyone, can't he? I wish Jenna was here to help me back me up on how that isn't exactly fair to Clint. Oh my god, wait, did his dad... I just put 2 and 2 together. Fuck. That was so shitty if that's the case. Why the fuck? That was such a low blow. What the fuck? Anyway, I think he was on something. Did you see how crazy he looked? He's always on something. And speaking of which, Leo steps slow and I look ahead to see an isolated house further up the road. The porch light is on and I see a skinny figure get out of a chair and start walking up the front yard. It's clear he means to intercept us, and I slow down with Leo as he draws closer. Duke? Leo nods at him. Skinny Weasel looks us both up and down, raising up a paw to pull a drag from what looks like a cigar. I assume it's actually a blunt because it smells like Carl. He's as patchy and unhealthy looking as I remember him. Not as torn up as Clint, but still bad enough to know he's done his fair share of dabbing in meth. He doesn't say anything, and after a while, Leo clears his throat. Isn't it nice? He's here. As Duke cuts Leo off, he's staring right at me, so I assume it's me he's talking about. Hi, Duke. I probably couldn't have said any more awkwardly. Leo stepped forward, partially in front of me. Did you need something? Duke lets out a long stream of smoke towards us. Definitely a blunt. Same shit happening to me after you told me about it. Huh? Leo looks at him, looking politely puzzled, though I can see his tail twitching behind him. You been seeing shit? Now I'm seeing shit. It's quiet for a few seconds. Leo laughs. Well, maybe lay off the drug cocktails. No, it's different. The shit I see, almost real. I saw him. He nods at me again, and for some reason, I'm starting to feel really uncomfortable. Leo laughs and this time it's much more forced. He starts pushing me along further up the street. Sorry, Duke, but Chase is taken. Janice is still single, though. Duke follows us, walking along the dirt while we stay on the asphalt. When did he get here? Leo doesn't say anything and keeps pushing me along. I can see Duke getting angrier, and I don't want another fight, so I butt in. I got here on Saturday. Something wrong, Duke? Duke doesn't answer. He just stops and watches us go. A frown stretched across his face. I keep on looking over my shoulder at him, but he doesn't move and he doesn't take his eyes off us. What the fuck? Stop looking at him, Chase. What was he talking about? Doesn't matter. Just keep moving and hope we don't run into any more of those psychos. His southern accent is coming out. He's mad. I managed not to look back again, but I feel his eyes on my back of my neck the entire time. Even though the instruction says only to take 2, Leo gives me 3 genetic acetaminophen pills. After that, he takes me to the bathroom and starts cleaning the cut on my forehead. Wait, how long ago was the drinker? That's not a good combo. Okay. Oh my god. I grimace against the sting of the rubbing alcohol. We really should take you to the ER. This might even need stitches. I lean my head into his paws because not having to hold it up feels good. No, it's not that bad. Besides, even if it is a concussion, they'll just send me home and tell me to get some rest. Along with a $500 bill. I played football, I know, but you never know how serious it could be. I sigh and I don't say anything, deciding it would be easier just not to argue. Leo starts to debate whether or not to shave the fur, but I finally get annoyed and tell him to get on with it. As he prods around, I can feel the area around the cut swelling, and I wonder if I'm going to get a black eye. Leo finally steps back and starts putting everything back into the first aid kit.